Hello and welcome to episode 11 of the One Lonely Owl podcast. My name is Terry and I will be your host. This podcast is where I will speak about all of my yarny goodness and my knitting adventures past, present, and future. If for any reason you would like to contact me, please feel free to do so. All of my contact information can be found in the description box, which you can find right below this video. We also generally like to have a good time around here, so I will do a little bit of laughing, and yes, I realize I'm totally just laughing at myself, by myself, but I'm okay with that. I am originally from Newfoundland and Labrador on the east coast of Canada, but I currently live in Alberta, on the west side of Canada. I live in central Alberta, and actually today I'm going to be talking about a small town near where I live. If you are a new viewer, thank you so much for giving me a try, and if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. Hi, Mom. With that, I hope you are able to gain something of value from this video, whether you're a new viewer or a returning viewer. But with that, we're just going to dive right in. So the first segment of the podcast is called Mug Up. Mug Up is where you go into the woods and boil up a cup of tea or coffee or hot chocolate. Today, I already finished my cold cup of tea because it took me quite some time to get this episode ready to start to record. So all I have today is my water bottle with me, and you can probably tell I've got a bit of a frog in my throat. So I will apologize for that in advance, but you will see me drinking out of my water bottle throughout the episode. If you are interested in all of the stickers that you see on my water bottle, you can find, I'm not sure which episode it is in, but a while back I talk a little bit about each and every one of these and why they mean something to me. But that is what you will find me drinking today. I will also apologize if in the event you can hear any background noise. I'm not home alone today, so I will apologize in advance, but hopefully you don't hear any of that background noise. If you do, I will do my best to try to get rid of it in post once I've done recording, but unfortunately that is the nature of the beast today. Let's see. Oh, you will also see me looking down here. I always have some show notes, and you'll see that I've got something just sort of down to the right here where I will take notes and check off what it is that I've talked about because I need to make sure that I keep myself on track. All right, the next episode, or the next segment, is called La. La is short form for look in Newfoundland, so I've used that in the context of look at what she's wearing. Today I am just wearing, I guess not just wearing, I'm wearing a pullover. It's called the Harvey pullover. It's in Cascade 220, I believe. I'll be honest with you, I don't actually remember what I knit this in, but I know it was Cascade. I think it was Cascade 220. Anyway, and I don't remember the colorway, but it is this gorgeous sort of deep forest green. I'm going to try to stand up and see if you can see the detail on the front. It has a broken, what is that called? It's a broken brioche, and everywhere else is stockinette. It is a pattern that I obtained when I purchased this book called 100 Knits, Interweave's Ultimate Pattern Collection. So this is, I quite enjoy this book actually. I've only knit one pattern out of it, but I love just looking through it. I'm just going to show you the picture of the Harvey pullover. I've got a little patch of jeans here in case I don't want to give away the pattern. There it is, and then see if I can... And there as well. So I really, really love this sweater. It's one of my favorite sweaters. It is quite warm though, so you've heard me talk about menopause before. I'm currently experiencing some menopausal symptoms, and so I do get quite warm. So I don't get to wear this one very often, but I was cold this morning, so I thought I would give this one a try. So that again is the Harvey pullover. It's by Hannah Baker, and it is in 100 Knits, the Interweave's Ultimate Guide Ultimate Pattern Collection, and it's on page 377 if you're so inclined. The next segment is called Whatta Ya At. Whatta Ya At is a short way in Newfoundland to catch a bunch of different types of questions. So Whatta Ya At meaning what are you doing, what are you up to, and I've used it in the context of what am I working on. So I've got several projects on the needles, a couple I cannot show but I will talk about, and also I have half of finished object, so I will show one half and then I'll show the other half afterward. So the first project that you have seen before, you've only ever seen the bag, and ultimately Christmas is coming, so hopefully I'll be able to show this a little bit in a little bit. It is the antlerless antler you've heard me talk about before. So the antler cardigan is by a pattern by Tin Can Knits. The sweater is being knit for a friend of mine for Christmas. It is being knit with Briggs & Little Sport held double, and I'm using, in this particular one, I'm using the color Seafoam. Seafoam is kind of a teal, just as it sounds, like a seafoam color. That you can't see it there. You may be able to see a little bit without glare. Maybe not. No, the color's not really easily seen. Let me see. I'll just open it up and pull out a little bit of the sweater. So this sweater is 99% done. All I need to do now is finish the button band. So there's the color of the sweater. All I have to do is finish the button band, weave in the ends, and block it. So that is almost finished. The antlerless antler. So it's a cardigan by Tin Can Knits that has an antler cabling, but I've omitted the antler cable. The next work in progress, or Whatta Ya At, that I will show you is the pair, well, it's only one of a pair of the Grinch socks. Slow and steady, these are coming along, so I'm past where I probably will cut in for the heel, but I usually measure after the fact. I do a literal afterthought heel. And it's a vanilla sock pattern, a vanilla sock recipe that I use, which I've talked about in previous episodes. So if you're interested in that, you can go to previous episodes. I believe in my show notes I actually talk about it, if you want to look for one where I talk about a Turkish cast on. The yarn is You're a Mean One by Arctic Crafts. Arctic Crafts no longer dyes yarn for sale, but she does dye her own yarn for gifts or pattern prizes, or not pattern prizes, prizes for giveaways for knit-alongs and the like. So I don't believe that You're a Mean One has been available or will be available, but if you are super interested in it, you could probably reach out to Arctic Crafts. I will link everything that I discussed in today's episode in the description box below. The red is sort of just a Christmas red. I don't believe it has a colorway name. If it does, Bente, please correct me below, but I'm pretty sure it's just a Christmas red. I'm not certain. And it's made to match the Grinch sock, or to coordinate with the Grinch sock. That is living in my Grinch bag by Creek Gardens Crafts. There are Grinch stitch stoppers, but they keep falling off my needles because the needles that I'm using are a size 2mm. And the Grinch stitch stoppers, sorry for my disgusting fingernails. I got a manicure a little while back, and I've been trying to stretch it out a little bit, and I've just been covering it up, but they're an absolute mess. So that is the vanilla sock in the Grinch bag by Creek Gardens Crafts with the Grinch stitch stoppers, also by Creek Gardens Crafts, and the Arctic Crafts by Bente yarn, You're a Mean One. So let's see what else. Next is a mitten almost finished mitten, to be fair. It is nearly completed. All I have left to do is to finish. There's 2 colors on the thumb that I'm not quite finished with yet. So this is the World's Simplest Mitt by Tin Can Knits. I'm knitting these in the smallest size. They're actually a gift for our family physician. She is a lovely, lovely woman, and I don't say this lightly, but she literally saved my husband's life because she was very diligent with her care with him when he was dealing with his health concerns of 2022. So I decided I would knit her a pair of mitts. Like I said, these are the smallest size of the World's Simplest Mitt by Tin Can Knits. I am knitting them with a Polkadot Creek Mohair Mitten Set. It's the Romance Mitten Set, so there are 5 sort of pink, purpley gradient colors, and paired with a sand mohair. So like I said, I'm nearly complete. Let's just see if you can... There we go. All I've got left to do is to finish maybe 10 to 15 rows of the thumb, and I've almost completed that one. So that one is another Whatta Ya At, or a work in progress, and the other one is a completed object, so I'll show you that in the next segment. Oh, those mittens are living in this bag, buffalo plaid type bag, also by Creek Gardens Crafts. It holds a fair amount of yarn, although I've only put the mittens in here. It probably would be large enough. It's definitely large enough for a shawl, and it probably would even be large enough to start a sweater in, and you wouldn't be able to finish a sweater, I don't think, in here. At least I wouldn't. Maybe a fingering weight sweater, but certainly not a worsted weight. So that is the World's Simplest Mitts with Polkadot Creek Romance Mohair Mitten Set in a Creek Gardens Crafts drawstring bag. Okay. I also have another Christmas knit that I do not think... It's not going to give away the secret sauce, and I'm not certain... I'm not really concerned about this one being shown, so I will probably show this one. While I dig it out of this giant pile of things I have over here, I'll share with you. It is the Worsted Boxy by Locatelli. I'll show it because there's very little to show. The Worsted Boxy is a pattern by Locatelli, and it's a paid-for pattern. If you have heard me talk about the pattern before, you've heard me talk about the fingering weight boxy for certain, because I have 3 of those sweaters. I believe I might have even been wearing one in a previous episode. I absolutely love that pattern, and I love that sweater. So the Worsted Boxy I had in my pattern library for quite some time, and I decided that I was finally going to cast one on. So again, with the Briggs & Little, I'm holding Briggs & Little Sport Double, and this particular color is the Blue Heather colorway. So I'll actually show you a label. This is the Briggs & Little Sport label, and then the Blue Heather colorway is what I'm using to knit this one. So it's kind of bunched up on the needles. You cannot really tell how large this sweater is. Again, it's a paid-for pattern, so I won't get into the details, but it's over 200 stitches, I believe, to cast on, if my memory serves me correctly. And it is quite wide. I believe if, like the fingering weight boxy, if it has the same amount of ease, it's somewhere in the 12-inch, 30-centimeter type range. So that is the Worsted Boxy being knit on size, whatever the pattern calls for. If you've been here before, you know that I usually get gauged with whatever the pattern calls for. 5.5 millimeter needles, or a US 9. So I'm hoping this is going to knit up fairly quickly. Like I said, I did intend it to be a Christmas gift. I'm not going to kill myself on getting this finished, because the person who it's for, I believe, will appreciate it at any time when I give it to them. So that was the Worsted Weight Boxy with Briggs & Little Sport Held Double in the Blue Heather colorway. It's being knit on 5.5mm or US 9. And I'm using my Addy Turbos on that particular one. And that is living in a 31 bag. Oh, I didn't mention the other sweater that just needs the button band, the Antlerless Antler, also is living in a 31 bag. This one, again, you've heard me talk about 31 before. My sister-in-law used to work, she used to sell their product. And so I use a few of them as project bags. I really like this one because you can put it down on the floor of a coffee shop and you can wipe it off when you're done. I am not sponsored by any of the products or any of the companies that I mention in this episode, nor any other episode. But if anybody would like to sponsor me, please feel free to do so. Okay, and that's it for Whatta Ya At. I just realized one of my finished objects is on the other side of the camera, so I'll be right back. So the next segment is called Yes By. Yes By is the segment where we talk about finished objects or things that I've completed over the past 2 weeks. Today we have 2 finished objects that we're going to discuss. One of them is not knitting, but it is knitting adjacent, and the other is a knitting project. So I'm going to show you the knitted one first. The knitted project that I have a half finished object for is the World's Simplest Mitt. So again, this is the small size of the World's Simplest Mitt by Tin Can Knits, knit with the Romance Mohair Mitten Kit by Polkadot Creek. I can't really show you how big my hands are or how the mitten goes, but it does describe in the pattern the size from sort of cuff to fingertip, so you should be able to sort that out. Let's see. So here it is, the mitten. There we go. And then I'll put it on my hand. So my hand, I don't know, is a regular size hand. Maybe, I don't know, this big. And I did not do, one of the modifications I did not do was the 3-inch cuff. I believe I did like a 2-inch cuff. So you can see here, that might even only be 1.5 inches. I feel like a 3-inch cuff would be way too much. And then the other modification I did was I did several colors because the Mohair Mitten Kit comes with several different colors with the intention of it being a colorful mitten. So I didn't do all one color. I don't think the pattern says one way or the other, but that is the half-finished mitten. And the other project that I completed in this last 2 weeks was something that I've been meaning to do for quite some time, and I have finally successfully made some wooden buttons. So these, pardon me, these may be a little hard to see. There we go. So I have a bunch of trees. We live on an acreage, so I have a bunch of trees in my backyard that had a bunch of fall down, stuff that had sort of branches that had fallen off or died and whatnot. And so I was doing some cleanup in the backyard. My husband was sort of going on a bit of a spree where he was cleaning up the backyard, and I had picked up a few branches that looked like they might make cute little buttons. And so there's 2 different sizes. This one I'm going to guess is about a 1-inch button. And then this one here, maybe a 1 centimeter button. They're so cute. The bark has stayed on the outside of them so far. All I did was I used a table saw to saw the pieces from the branches, and then I sanded them, very roughly sanded them, drilled holes, 2 little holes in the center, and then sprayed them with a varnish type. I can't actually remember what it was called, a varathane maybe. But if you can hear my dog in the background, I apologize. If you cannot, he is barking. Not sure what at, because we don't have anything for him to bark at. Okay, so that is the segment called Yes By. Yes By, Yes By. The next segment is twacking. So this segment is a fairly large segment this time. I had done a significant amount of shopping in the last couple of weeks, and I'd done some shopping in previous weeks where things had shown up in the mail. So the first thing that I wanted to show was this Mohair Mitten Kit, because I was just talking about the Romance Mohair Mitten Kit. This one is called the Irish Cream. So I went in to Polkadot Creek on my way back home from the city one day when I had a doctor's appointment. The lighting, there we go, that's a bit better for the colors. I believe the colors in here are like chocolate, eucalyptus, sand. I'm gonna guess this is maybe moss or avocado. Maybe this one's avocado. Maybe forest, I'm not sure. I know and love all of Shelley's green colorways. I definitely know this one's eucalyptus. Pretty sure that's moss. Not 100%, but I think so. And then that actually might be forest. Anyway, and then the mohair is actually the Irish Cream colorway that I was using in a shawl that I'd knit for Shelley a few episodes back. Again, if you're interested in seeing any of that, please go back in the history and look for other episodes. So that is the Irish Cream on mohair, which I just cannot wait to get my hands on that. I have to say, I think I've said this in episodes before, I'm not a humongous fan of mohair, and I'll explain a little bit why. One, it's really fiddly when you're trying, in my experience anyway, I find it really fiddly when I'm trying to wind it, so I always end up winding it by hand. Second, when I'm knitting with it, I find it so slippery, so I always end up knitting with it on wooden needles, which does help, but I do find that it is super, super slippery, so I really do struggle with it slipping off the needles if I don't use a wooden needle. And the third is I always end up sneezing or like rubbing my nose or rubbing my eyes because it's just a bit hairy. So I know some other people have some trouble with it, so I'm not alone in that world, but yeah, I am still excited to use this particular one. This has been earmarked for a potential gift for one of my physicians, so I have a full team of oncologists. If you're new here, my apologies, but you can go back in previous episodes where I talk about my cancer journey. I have a full team of oncologists that have been following me and will continue to follow me for a total of 5 years, so for the next 4 years or so. And one of them is from Ireland, and she was there from the very beginning of my treatment all the way through to sort of the finishing of my treatment, and I'm going to see her at the end of December to do a follow-up. So I thought an Irish Cream pair of mittens just might be the ticket to say thank you to her for being there for me and for holding my hand quite literally in some of the situations. So this will be a pair of mittens for her, unless I decide to do something else, which I'll talk about in Now to Once. But if nothing, the mohair probably will be used for that. And if I don't use it for that, I just love the green, so let's be honest, I will have that forever. Let's see. The other thing that I purchased while I was at Polkadot Creek that day was the 2023, I believe it's pronounced Flute sock. I'm assuming that means 4-ply Christmas. So the Rolana garn is made in Italy. Everybody's and their dog has probably seen this, but this is the Christmas 2023 sock yarn. So you'll see if I can, there's the label. And then on the label you'll see there is a picture of a sock. So this is what it will look like when it's knit up. I have a pair of socks made out of this yarn from previous years, and I absolutely love the socks when they're knit up. So I haven't decided yet if I'm going to cast this on this year or not. I definitely want to finish my Grinch socks, but I want to have this particular colorway in my collection. I've got a collection of sock yarn just behind me that's full of Christmas colorways, and so I have every intention of knitting them at some point. I just don't know if it will be this year or not. But that is an acquisition that I got from Polkadot Creek when I was there the other day to get the Irish Cream Mohair Mitten Set. The next, I'm going to apologize for the crinkling. The next couple of objects, again, they're not knitting related, but they're knitting adjacent. You've heard me before in the past talk about One Wave designs. You've also heard me, I believe, talk about Northern Wind, which is a, both of those are Etsy companies, and One Wave Designs is from Ontario, and Northern Wind is from Newfoundland and Labrador, I believe, pretty sure. I ordered some stitch stoppers, and I cannot wait to show you these. So, I ordered a few of each in the event that I ever wanted to do a prize, or I don't want to say the G word, so I'll just put it right here, as per Taylor from Wool Needles Hands. Sorry again for all the crinkling. But I have some autumnal leaves. There's an orange one as well. But some autumnal leaves are, they're so cute. And these, I could not leave these. They were too darn cute. So here we have a white and a brown owl. So I have it, like I said, I have a couple of each. In the event that I ever do have enough viewership to actually host a giveaway. Oh darn, there I've gone and said it. I doubt the bots are going to be too interested in this channel at this point. Anyway, the other thing that I received from One Wave Designs, which I am so excited to share with you, is this pen kit. So I will actually post a photo right here of the completed pens, because they are also on the other side of the camera and I'm not getting up to go get them. But it comes with a bunch of beads as well as a keychain and a couple of pen things. What would you call that? Like a blank pen that you can put your own beads on. So I've done that, and like I said, I'll have posted a picture right here. These are so darn cute. I just can't. They're too cute. And then you've seen some of the others before. These are from Northern Wind. So a couple of things that you don't know about me or my children. One of my children absolutely loves giraffes. Actually, I believe I mentioned it before because I knitted her a giraffe. If I haven't shown it, I can't recall if I have or not, but I'll post a photo of it here of the giraffe that I knit her. She has a full collection of giraffe stuffies, and so I found these giraffe stitch stoppers, if you can see. There you go. And then there's an assortment of hexagonal stitch stoppers that I purchased, as well as the Wonder Woman. Again, you may have heard me talk about this before, but during my cancer journey, many of my friends gave me Wonder Woman gifts to, I don't know if it was to sort of like lift me up to boost my morale, and Wonder Woman just kind of became my nickname. So I've got a couple of t-shirts, as you've seen in the past. I've got a tumbler that I use to drink water from. I've got, this one was a gift, so I wouldn't so much say an acquisition, but a gift from my best friend on my birthday. And this little mug, I don't know if you could have seen it in the screen, but it is an owl that has a little star, so the owl actually kind of looks like Wonder Woman. I think that is absolutely adorable. If I can find out where she got this from, looks like maybe Anthropology is where this came from. But, like I said, Wonder Woman kind of became my unofficial nickname during my cancer treatment, and so everybody was giving me Wonder Woman gifts, and the Wonder Woman stitch stoppers just couldn't stay in that shop. I had to have them. And as you know, I've always got, 10 or 12 different projects on the go, so it's not like there'll be any shortage of stitch stoppers to help me. The last two things are not at all knitting related, but I have talked about sort of my style in the past and how, because one of the reasons I really enjoy knitting is because I like the style of the clothing. I particularly really enjoy leather, and I've said this before in the past. I apologize if that's something that's triggering for you, but I will just share with you the next two products that I will be sharing are both leather. I had bought, there's a shop near where I live called Irvine Tack and Western Wear, and it is Canada's largest tack and western wear store. And they had a ladies' night the other night where they had, I think it was a 20% off sale on the Thursday before for Black Friday. So I went out to purchase a pair of boots for my husband because my husband needed a new pair of boots. Our dog had gotten to his, unfortunately, and while I was there, I fell in love with this pair. While we were looking for his, I fell in love with this pair, and I was looking for something a little bit more everyday wear because I have a couple pairs of boots, but they're a bit dressier that you'd wear if you're going out. So I found these. These are Ariat brand, and they are called the Frontier Tilly. So this is what you can... I've posted, if you've already looked on Instagram, you would have seen me post a photo in my garage last night. So I love the teal detail on the stitching. I really love the square toe. Like I said, I do have a couple of other pairs. One pair has a square toe, but the other pair has a snip toe, and I find that that is just way too sort of dressy for me on like your every given day. The other is that it's got a larger heel, a higher heel on the other boot, and this is a shorter heel, so it's a bit more, although not intended for work because it does have the leather sole, it is still something that I intend to wear sort of around, and just not necessarily around the house or around the yard, but around town sort of thing. So those are the Frontier Tilly by Ariat, and I love the bottom. The teal bottom. I think that that is absolutely awesome. So those are my new Ariat boots that I got on sale at Irvine Tack and Western Wear. And then this, I mentioned a little earlier that there's a small town near where I live. The name of the town is called Sundry, and I'll put it across the bottom. Sundry, I found these products at Irvine Tack and Western Wear, and I absolutely fell in love with them. So my wallet had seen better days, and so I purchased this leather wallet from a company called Rugged Earth. So it's sort of doubles between a wallet and a purse. And then the bag that I purchased as well from Rugged Earth, I'll show you. Rugged Earth, again, the name of the company is Rugged Earth, and they are out of Sundry, Alberta. I'm not certain if you can buy anything online. If you are so inclined and you'd like to purchase something from them and you cannot get anything online, feel free to make a comment below, and I can probably help direct you in the right way to find somewhere that you can actually purchase them. The thing that I really loved about this bag is this compartment, which I'm going to try to show you. I'm not sure you're going to be able to see. It has a little card pocket holder thing on the outside of the purse so that you actually don't need to use a wallet. I didn't realize that until I already had picked up the wallet and had it in my hand and had fallen in love with it. So I believe what I'm going to end up doing is actually taking my things that like my everyday use type items, and I'm going to put them in my bag, and then I'm going to leave the wallet for when I just want to bring something small to, you know, if you go out or whatever. So that is my bag and purse from Rugged Earth, which was also purchased at Irvine Tack and Western Wear. I wish you had smell-o-vision. I wish you could smell this bag. Oh my goodness. It is just, you can smell it when you walk into the shop. It is like there's plenty of leather product there. And like I said, if that's something that's triggering for you, I apologize. But it does not. It gives me a lot of joy, quite honestly, to know that the full animal is being used. And if I am being ignorant to anything and there's anything that you'd like to educate me on, please feel free to do so. Okay, World's Simplest Mitts for my doctor are the topic for the next item, which is Now to Once. Now to Once is where we talk about what I'm going to be knitting next. So once I've finished the other mitten, so literally just finishing the thumb in the world's simplest mitt, I'm going to cast on another pair of those for my oncologist. And I'm going to finish all the Christmas knits, obviously. We've talked about that in the past. The other thing that I'd like to address here in the Now to Once segment is Vlogmas. So I think you might be able to just think that I'm bananas, and that's totally fine. I believe this year I'm going to do a Vlogmas. It is my first year as a podcaster, and there's nothing professional about this whatsoever, but I am really enjoying myself. So I thought, why not just throw my hat in the ring and give it a go? And if nothing, I'll learn a lot by doing that. So I've done a little bit of preparation. I've gotten sort of like a thumbnail ready to go, and I've thought about the things that I'm going to be doing in the Vlogmas. What I will say is I will try to record some outdoor activity, but like I said, I do live on an acreage, and there's not a ton of places that I can go other than, say, walking into town or driving into town and going for a walk of that sort. But I may still try to do that. I might just drive around the area and find some nature areas and give you some of those maybe once a week, something like that. I will also say that on the weekends, the content on the weekends will likely be a lot less than it will be during the week, because in the weekdays I have a little bit more freedom because my children are in school or at daycare, whereas on the weekends I spend a lot of time just sort of spending time with my kids. And because they are underage and are not able to give consent to be on the internet, I'm not going to be giving consent for them to do that. So I want to make sure that I respect their privacy. So you may or may not get enough content on the weekends, but you'll at least see me opening up an advent calendar or two. All right, so that is in Now to Once. So I'm going to be running Vlogmas from December 1st to December 25th, probably. Maybe even just the 24th. We'll see if I actually end up doing Christmas Day. But just wanted to put that out there. I know that at the Almanac Knitter, Andrew from the Almanac Knitter had toyed with the idea as well, and I'd made a comment on his Instagram post where he'd said that he was considering doing it. I said, if you do it, I will. So I've decided I'm going to do it. I don't know if Andrew has decided or not, but I will tag Andrew below, and hopefully he'll be able to see this, and then he can decide whether he's going to do his Vlogmas or not as well. I really hope he can. I really hope he does do that. Okay, that's it for Now to Once. The sort of last big section that I have for today is jigs and reels. Jigs and reels in Newfoundland are songs and dances, and I've used it in the context of what I'm reading or listening to music-wise or book-wise, what it is that I may be watching, that sort of thing. So jigs and reels today has a bunch of books in it. I have been reading a fair bit. Sorry again about the crinkling, I know you can hear that. So the first book that I have is the book club book for my library. It's called The Cellist of Sarajevo by Stephen Galloway. I'm, I don't know, a couple chapters in. So this one is a book that is set in the war, during the war in Sarajevo in the 90s. Yeah, so like I said, I'm only a couple of chapters in. I like it so far, but it is The Cellist of Sarajevo by Stephen Galloway. And that is my book club pick for my local library. The next book is another book club pick, but this one is my personal book club. So I've got a couple of friends that we get together once a month and we discuss, I'd say the best way to describe it is our books are a little bit fluffier. They're a little more sit around and chat and drink wine as opposed to really think and have intellectual conversations about. They're a bit more fluffy. This one is called The Book Club Hotel by Sarah Morgan. I'm, I don't know, 6-8 chapters in, something like that, 130 something pages in, and I'm really enjoying this one. Again, it's a bit fluffier, it's a little lighter of a read, but I'm enjoying that as well. And this has nothing to do with anything other than I'm finally jumping on the train, which I didn't even know that there was a train until my last book club with my girlfriend's book club. The Fourth Wing I had finished reading, I think I mentioned that before, so now I'm on to the Iron Flame. So I am jumping on the bandwagon and I'm really enjoying it. So I'm getting a fair bit of reading done there. Let's see, what else do I have to talk about? I will say what I've been watching. So my husband and I don't really like to watch a ton of TV. I don't know why, but I will say that I have been watching some reality television, and I say the word reality in air quotes, so to speak, because I'm not certain how much of it is real. Or scripted, but the show that I've recently sort of stumbled across is Love is Blind, and I've just kind of been watching that when I need something a little light to go to bed to, or to spend an hour, just kill an hour while knitting, and if I don't have any podcasts to catch up on. As always, I am catching up on all podcasts, and any of those that I have been watching, I will list below in the description box. So please, if you have any that you are looking for, if you're looking for a new podcast, I've already mentioned Arctic Crafts by Bente. She is the Epilogue Lady podcast. And then there's Andrew, the Albinek Knitter. Of course, you've got Ray and Kevin from Needles at the Ready, and Tracy and Jody from the Grocery Girls. So all the ones that I will be watching or have been watching are listed in the description box, which you can find right below this video. The other thing that I have been listening to on, I believe it's November 1st. I'm not totally sure because I don't really do the Christmas thing until after my birthday. But the Christmas music, there's a full-time Christmas radio station in Calgary that I have been listening to when I do end up going on the road. I also ended up pulling out my old iPod, and I have a couple of old playlists on there that are Christmas related, so I've been listening to those, and me and my kids have been singing along to those while I drive them home from school every day. So that has been really fun and joyous. Although I will say, with the weather that we've been having, it is not cold or snowy enough. Not that I'm complaining. I really enjoy the lovely temperate weather that we're having. It does get cool, so it is still very fall-like, but we just don't have as much snow as we typically would have at this time of year. But like I said, I'm enjoying it, and we've still got almost a month to go, so ideally we will have a white Christmas. So I'll let you know in the next 2 weeks whether that changes, and I'll probably be complaining about it by then. Okay, the next episode, or rather the next segment in the episode, is called Best Kind. Best Kind is where I talk about things that I enjoy or that I do that make me feel good. I've talked in the past about meditation and exercise, and I continue to do both of those things. But there's a couple of things that I wanted to note. I've just briefly mentioned my birthday. So my birthday was on Saturday, November the 18th, and I did a couple of things on my birthday, or sort of during that time, that were quite enjoyable for me. My husband took me out for dinner, and there was a band that was playing that was from Newfoundland, and they were playing in the town that I live near. We put up the Christmas tree. So I have to say, last year, being recovering from cancer treatment, and my husband having his health concerns that he had last year, I have no idea how we put that Christmas tree up last year. So I'll insert another photo here. We have a 12-foot Christmas tree. We've got a large great room, I guess you could call it, that's got the cathedral ceilings, and so a 12-foot Christmas tree is, in my opinion, is a must. I'm a big fan of Christmas. So I put the 12-foot Christmas tree up last year with a little bit of help, but honestly, I have no idea how I did that, because this year I really struggled, and I'm in much better health than I was last year at the same time. But we got it up, we got it decorated. It is very sparsely decorated. It just has ornaments hung on it. I didn't put any ribbon or garland or anything at all. I barely got the Christmas, like the star on the top, and I had to get my dad to help me with that. But it's up, and it is staying up until after Christmas, hopefully. Although, like I said, it is 12 feet. If it does decide to tip, I feel like it'll come down at any moment on its own. It you're not going to stop it even if you wanted to. So my birthday, dinner with my husband, we put up the Christmas tree. I had mentioned my dad had come to help. Mom and Dad had come for a visit. So we spent some time out in our garage where we just sort of had a couple of drinks and we played darts or we listened to music, and it was just a really, really, really great time. I really enjoy spending time as a family. So with my parents here, my husband and our kids obviously were in bed at the time, but spending time together as a family is really enjoyable for me, and it really fills my cup. I did want to just mention one thing. A close friend of ours had some bad news the other day, or some, I don't want to call it bad news, but some news that maybe wasn't ideal the other day, where his companion has found out that she has breast cancer. And I just wanted to mention, for anybody who may be watching, that just sucks. I know how it feels to be given a diagnosis. I know how it feels to have to share that diagnosis with family and friends. And it just absolutely sucks when you have to do that. So I wanted to share in Best Kind that I am so blessed to be alive, and I'm so blessed to have the family and friends that I have. So surrounding myself with family and friends that I know and love, and spend time with, when spending time with them fills up my cup, I just really wanted to acknowledge that. The other thing that we did while my parents were here was we had a fire outside. My dad had a birthday on the 23rd of November, so we really enjoyed ourselves, and we went outside and we lit a fire, and we had hot chocolate and just sat and enjoyed ourselves and enjoyed our time being outside. So that was really quite enjoyable. And then yesterday I went and had lunch with my best friend and her family, and that was something that always fills up my cup, spending time with her and her family. But I just wanted to, even just the smallest little thing, like everybody has to eat. So there's times where it is so busy and you may not be able to find the time to spend it with the people that matter the most to you, but when you can, do. And like I said, everybody has to eat. So even if you have to go and have a meal with somebody just so that you can spend the time with them, it's well worth it. It was so enjoyable. The food was great. The company was great. My kids love my best friend's husband. They had a really great time. I had a really great time. It was just really, really nice. Okay, so that's it for Best Kind. And I believe that's it for the episode. That's all she wrote. Yeah, let me just do one quick check. Oh, sorry. One final thing, and this goes way back. I just wanted to mention in the works in progress, or in Whatta Ya At, I have not worked on the Harvest cardigan at all, so that's why I didn't mention it. My apologies. I did see that it was sitting right next to me. I feel like there's a bunch of things that I've forgotten. But I can't for the life of me think of them right now. So with that, keep living your best life and filling up your cup. And I'll see you in 2 weeks. Until then, stay where you're to, till I comes where you're at. Bye.